It was after midnight and the old man living in the village had a habit of coming out to use the restroom at night. According to him, there was no moon that night. At night, when I came out and reached out, I couldn't see my fingers. When I went to the bathroom, I could only hold a flashlight emitting a faint yellow light. The toilet was open air, and there was a yard separated from the cave. The old man walked towards the toilet with a flashlight in his hand, swaying and swaying. There are still some vegetables growing well in the yard. The night wind blows these leaves, making a rustling sound. There are also occasional insect sounds coming from the mountains. The courtyard was not originally very long, but the old man walked for a long time. He said that the flashlight was very dim at that time, and could only shine on a small area near his feet. He only relied on intuition to find the restroom. But he knew very well how long it took to reach a place he had lived in for decades, but that day he walked for a long time without touching the outer wall of the toilet. He instinctively picked up a flashlight to shine on it, and could only vaguely see that the restroom was not far away. He could only continue to walk forward, walking and walking. The old man could only feel that he was walking forward, but the restroom, which usually takes 2 or 3 minutes, could never be reached tonight. It's like a mirage, visible but intangible. Even the vegetable leaves in the yard can be seen through the faint lights, but it's just that I can't get to the bathroom. After walking for over half an hour, the old man also began to panic and stopped moving forward. After resolving his urge to urinate on the spot, he turned back. However, on the way back, the same thing happened. Chapter 1. Opening Explanation, Introduction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 2. Strange Village Stories. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 3. Preparation before exploration. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 4. Undercover Relationships. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 5. Exploring the Way in Advance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 6. Strange Blood Stains. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After seeing Huaxing sit down, Lu Xiaoyan next to her was about to ask how the detective was doing. With the help of the firelight, she suddenly saw a very glaring and blood-red patch on Huaxing's clothes, which was also wet. It was obviously just put on, which made her face turn pale. She dared not disturb others and used her trembling little hand to pull Huaxing, who was still pondering. Looking at the puzzled expression cast by Huaxing, she pointed to the blood-red patch on his clothes with her finger. At this moment, Huaxing was still gnawing on a chicken leg in his left hand and looked at Lu Xiaoyan's finger in confusion. With a loud bang, the chicken legs in my hand fell off, even forgetting to chew the meat in my mouth. My pupils contracted sharply, and my eyes were filled with fear. Ignoring the strange gazes from the others, Huaxing trembled and held his right hand in front of him. Just like on the clothes, although most of them were rubbed onto the clothes, there were still some left, and the dazzling bright red made him understand that he was not mistaken. The mud and water I had seen before turned into bloodstains, leaving Huaxing's mind blank and his spirit very tense, with cold sweat streaming down his face. At this time, Huaxing is a bit confused about what is true and what is fake. Didn't it start by midnight? Looking at the people across from him who looked at him in surprise, and then turning their heads to look at Lu Xiaoyan, who had the same pale face and trembling lips, it didn't seem like it was fake. So what I saw just now when I went out was an illusion. After a while, Huaxing finally woke up from self-doubt. Now is not the time for fear, how to spend tonight is what he needs to consider. Huaxing gave a stiff smile and without leaving a trace, patted Lu Xiaoyan, who had not yet regained consciousness, and said, "He, don't look at me like that. I just bit my mouth just now, it's nothing serious. Huaxing casually perfunctorily said, regardless of whether they believed it or not. On the contrary, the other few people did not see Lu Xiaoyan's abnormality and were attracted by the sound of his chicken legs falling off. Cut, what's there to pretend about? We're not scared, I can't understand your little devilish thoughts. Ren Junjie's mouth remained broken as usual, and he also believed that Huaxing was deliberately creating a strange atmosphere. Yeah, Huaxing, we've come out not once or twice. How could anyone be so scared by you? Duan Xiaoyu also interjected. What do you know? Do you know what a live broadcast atmosphere is? I think Huaxing did a great job. I just recorded it, hee hee. I'll upload it later and definitely gain a wave of fans. That's right, Duan Xiaoyu, please shut up and be careful not to let you go to bed in the future. Wang Yafeng and Xiao Ling also expressed their opinions. But they all believe that Huaxing was intentional. As usual, Huaxing has long been arguing with everyone. But today, he sat quietly by the fire, occasionally glancing at the bloodstains on his hands. Huaxing didn't speak, and a few people also calmed down a bit, eating and playing with their phones. It's already 10:30, and it's not long before midnight. Wang Yafeng and Xiao Ling are assembling live streaming equipment and preparing to start broadcasting. Ren Junjie and Zhang Yanan don't know what they're talking about. No matter how it looks, it's not as simple as normal men and women. Under normal circumstances, Huaxing is also running around and taking a look. But I'm not in the mood today. Stand up and walk towards the outdoor toilet, drain the water, and think about what to do later. The bloodstains on his clothes and hands constantly remind him that going to bed tonight will not be easy. After Huaxing left, Lu Xiaoyan also followed along. She had a lot to ask, but it was clear that Huaxing didn't want to say it, so she could only ask when she was alone. Beside the toilet, there was the downward slope that Huaxing had just walked on, but except for the exit of the yard, everything else was surrounded by a stone wall that was only slightly higher than their calves. After pouring water, I stood inside the stone wall and stared blankly at the dense forest below the slope. I have already thought of several ways to deal with it at night, but they have all been rejected. If it were just him and Lu Xiaoyan, it would be better. At best, I would stay in the cave, which would reduce the chance of accidents. But there are 5 other people who came out this time, without a reasonable explanation, no one will believe it, and they will still go out. If it weren't for their personal experience, it wouldn't be very convincing for these people who explore strange events every day. The reactions of just a few people are very obvious. They will only think that he is pretending and deliberately creating an atmosphere. Just when Huaxing was at a loss, a warm little hand held his blood-stained right hand. Brother Xing, what exactly happened just now? And the blood stains on your clothes. That's still fresh. At this point, Lu Xiaoyan's emotions have stabilized a lot, but when speaking, she still leans her whole body against Huaxing's side, which makes her feel more secure. Huaxing withdrew his hand from the warmth and lifted it in front of her. Then he explained what he had just encountered. I don't want to keep this girl who cares about her today, except for the system. Lu Xiaoyan is still a girl. After listening to his story, she hugged one of his arms directly, her hands trembling and her eyes occasionally looking around. Previously, Huaxing's actions at the entrance of the cave had already brought her into the scene, and now she feels a bit immersed, which is why she is so afraid. Huaxing embraced him and patted his back before comforting him. Don't worry, isn't there still me here? When I go out later, you'll be right next to me. No matter what I do, you must trust me unconditionally. Feeling Lu Xiaoyan's fear and having such a strong reaction indicates that she trusts her enough. You should know that she is the elder sister of these people, and she doesn't have any fear in her exploration. Aha, I got it, she whispered. Fear can make people lose their thinking and rationality. Although it hasn't reached that point yet, Lu Xiaoyan's only thought at this moment may be to believe in the man in front of her. Other things have made it impossible for her to think. Seeing this situation, Huaxing could only shake its head helplessly. My girlfriend is like this. If the other two girls were to experience it, I'm afraid they would be scared and limp to the ground. Huaxing doesn't think of any more ways to deal with it. It's just empty talk now, so be prepared at any time. Besides, he still has a trump card on him. The Bagua mirror was also purchased from the old Taoist for 10,000 yuan. If the talisman paper works, then I believe this Bagua mirror can also protect him. Chapter 7. Thrilling Changes. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 8. Two Strange Disappearances. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 9. Team Reduction Again. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 10. Time and Space Flowing, Scaring Girl. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text.